in the civil service. In violation of the civil service, no? I want you to look at number 9. Although this is just a light offense, no? Number 9, willful failure to pay just debts or willful failure to pay taxes due to the government. No? This is very, very common in the local government, no, where I am employed, no? Daghan dili magbayad sa utang, so ilang isumbong kay naman dire appeal man siya sa kanang violation or offenses. If you do not pay just debts, no? Ang just debts refers to claims adjudicated by the court of law or claims the existence and justness of which are admitted by the debtor. Let's say na promissory note or na evidence of kanang debt, no? Or evidence of the indebtedness. Then that will be failure to pay just debts. And if you are found to be guilty of this offense, then you will be punished by a suspension of 1 day to 30 days. And for the second offense, first offense, reprimand. Second offense, suspension 1 day to 30 days. And third offense na siya is dismissal from the service, no? Okay, so dili ta magbayad gid sa utang, ayaw pagkuan. Ayaw pag kanang bangutang di ka mo bayad kay it is one of the violations provided in that 2017 RACS. Okay, just read the cases, no? Or the offenses considered to be grave, less grave, or light felonies. Appeal po niya, engaging in the private practice of one's profession unless authorized by the Constitution or by law or by regulation of or the head of office where the employer official is assigned, and provided that such practice will not conflict with one's official function. So if you're already a lawyer, now if you become a lawyer soon and you enter into the government service, if your government agency allows you to private practice your profession, okay na siya as long as you get the proper authorization from your head of office, no, or from your secretary, or secretary sa agency or regional office or the appointing authority, depende kung asa mo nga office nag-join. Okay? So other specific offense, no? Kaning mga offense of sexual harassment. The specific acts constituting grave, less grave, and light sexual harassment are as follows. No, grave offenses punishable by dismissal from the service shall include but are not limited to. No, dismissal daw ni siya. Unwanted touching of private parts of the body, inner thighs, genitalia, buttocks, and breast. Sexual assault, malicious touching, requesting for sexual favor in exchange for employment, promotion, local or foreign travels, favorable working conditions or assignments, passing grade, a granting of honors or scholarship, or the grant of benefits or payment of a stipend or allowance, and other analogous cases. Dismissal dayon siya. Number 2, less grave offenses. Okay, sa less grave offenses na siya mga suspension, no? Usually suspension. Unwanted touching or brushing against a victim's body, no? But of course, it depends on the circumstance proved in the complaint, no? If these are found or proved in the investigation, then the respondent may be held liable for sexual harassment. No? Pinching, not falling under grave offenses. Derogatory or degrading remarks or innuendos directed toward the members of one's sex or one's sexual orientation or used to describe a person. Verbal abuse with sexual overtones and other analogous cases. Okay, light offenses in the sexual harassment, for sexual harassment cases, surreptitiously looking at a person's private part or worn undergarments, no, nanilip ka, no, telling sexist or smutty jokes, or sending this through text, electronic mails, no, mga green jokes nimo. If na-offend ang pikas or it causes offensive or embarrassing or without advice, or when they are by their nature clearly embarrassing, offensive, and vulgar, no? Maliciously leering or ogling, display of sexually offensive pictures, materials, or graffiti, no? Ang imong laptop na ay na ay kanang tawag ani na ay kaning ang iyang wallpaper kay nude picture of any person or you or mga offensive sa makakita, no? That could be sexual harassment. Unwelcome inquiries or comments about a person's sex life, no? Unwelcome sexual flirtation, advances, propositions. Pero kung welcome, okay ra. Kung unwelcome, diha. Making offensive hand or body gestures at an employee. Persistent, unwanted attention with sexual overtones. No, unwelcome phone calls with sexual overtones causing discomfort, embarrassment, offense, or insult to the receiver, and other analogous cases. No? For the purpose of these rules, the administrative offense of sexual harassment is further prescribed in the following circumstances. It must be work-related sexual harassment is committed under the following circumstances, no? Submission to or rejection of act or series of acts is used as a basis for any employment decision, no? Such as hiring, promotion, raise in salary, job security, benefits affecting the applicant or employee, no? The act or series of acts have the purpose of effect of interfering the complainant's work performance or creating an intimidating, hostile, or offensive work environment, no? In office-related sexual harassment, the sexual harassment must relate to submission to or rejection of the act or series of acts as a basis for any employment decision, no? Like you will ask for an in return of the promotion, then sexual favors are being asked by the superior, then that's a sexual harassment, no? Or any act or acts which interferes the complainant's work performance, no? Creating an intimidating, hostile, or offensive work environment, no? If mga manyakis kayo mga kauban sa office, it will affect your performance, and if you feel intimidated or if you feel that you are in a hostile or offensive work environment because of the actions which denotes sexual harassment, then sexual harassment could be filed for work-related sexual harassment, no? The act or series of acts might reasonably be expected to cause discrimination, insecurity, discomfort, offense, or humiliation, no? If you are not going to submit to the request, then dili ka ma-promote, no? Ma-discriminate ka, or you will be humiliated in office, or no, or na discomfort on your part. Okay, education or training related sexual harassment is committed against one who is under the actual or constructive care, custody, or supervision of the offender, or against whose education, training, apprenticeship, internship, or tutorship is directly or constructively entrusted to or is provided by the offender, no? So this could be a teacher-student relation, no? Or an instructor-student relation. Okay? Just read the various circumstances, no, on sexual harassment which may take in the workplace, office, or school. Okay? Or even in the conferences, fora, symposia, or training session. No, even outside work, pwede gapon siya. Now, we also have the violation of RA 9485 or the Anti-Red Tape Act. Although, ang Anti-Red Tape Act is na supersede na siya or na-amend na siya sa katong bag-o na katong law na akong gi-discuss before, no? With regards to the new katong mandate na-amend na gid ni siya. Na-amend na ang Anti-Red Tape Act RA 9481. Okay? Okay, the Anti-Red Tape Act or ARTA has been amended by RA 11032 or the Ease of Doing Business and Efficient Government Service Delivery Act of 2018, no? Although if ano gyapon same nga man siya mga ano gyapon applicable gyapon ni nga mga penalty, no? Dismissal and perpetual disqualification from public office if there has been violation of the Ease of Doing Business and Efficient Government Service Delivery Act. Okay, what are light offenses, no? Under the civil service, no? This is for ARTA, this is for ARTA. I think we have to skip this, no? Kaya basta dili na ni mao ang dili na siya applicable under, this might not be applicable under the Ease of Doing Business Act, no? I will just skip on this because the 2017 ROCs came earlier, no? Kaya ang Ease of Doing Business was promulgated and enacted into law in 2018. Okay? Okay. Section 57, administrative disabilities inherent in certain penalties. Now, if you are found guilty or found liable to have committed a violation of the law rules which was the subject of the admin case, no? The penalty of dismissal, no, in case of dismissal, shall carry with it cancellation of eligibility. Meaning, kapag imong civil service, dili na to magamit, no? Perpetual disqualification from civil service eligibility, dili na to magamit. Perpetual disqualification from holding public office. You will not be allowed to hold other public office. You are barred from taking the civil service examination because ang imong eligibility is nawala na. So na-cancel na to. So you are barred from taking the civil service examination. And the worst is the forfeiture of your retirement benefits. So goodbye retirement benefits. If you have been judged guilty of an admin case and the penalty was dismissal from government service. Now, I have known a person, an employee in the local government who has been found guilty, no, by the ombudsman, dismissal from public service, and he lost all his retirement benefits, no, in just a blink of an eye. Nawala ka na niyang benefits. Sayang kayo, murag ano na siya, 24 years in government service, ang tanan naglaho parang bula because of a grave offense that he committed, no? So, terminal leave benefits and personal contributions to GSIS, ARBAS, or other equivalent retirement benefits shall not be subject to forfeiture, no? Ang imong mga terminal leave benefits makuha na nimo if naa pa, and your personal contributions, tong imong monthly contribution mo lang to imong makuha, and then wala na kay retirement, no? Or the penalty of demotion, if the penalty is demotion, it shall carry with it the disqualification from promotion for 1 year, no? So again, if the penalty is demotion, it shall carry with it the disqualification from promotion for 1 year, no?
After 1 year, pwede na ka maka-apply for promotion. The penalty of suspension shall carry with it disqualification from promotion corresponding to the period of suspension. So if you were suspended or meted out the penalty of suspension for 6 months, so you are not eligible for promotion within that same period. Okay. Okay, the penalty of fine shall carry with it disqualification from promotion for the same period the respondent is fined, no? If 1 month ang iyang equivalent sa iyang 1 month salary ang equivalent sa iyang fine, then 1 month pud siya dili eligible for promotion, no? The penalty of reprimand shall not carry with it any accessory penalties. So walay accessory penalties ang reprimand, no? A warning or admonition shall not be considered a penalty, no? Even you are given a stern warning or admonition, that is not considered to be a penalty. Okay, the effects of exoneration on certain penalties under Section 58. If in case the penalty imposed is fine and the decision um, is for the acquittal or dismissal of the admin case, then um, the same shall be refunded, no? Let's say in a higher, let's say sa regional office nga level na na found out to be liable ka and a penalty of fine is imposed, and then in the commission na exonerate ka, then the same, if nakabayad na kag fine, the same shall be refunded, no? In case there is demotion, the respondent shall be restored to former position, no? Without loss of seniority rights. Respondent shall be entitled to the payment of salary differentials during the period the demotion was imposed, no? Once you were exonerated, uh, from, let's say, from again from the lower level sa CSC regional office, you're found you were imposed the penalty of demotion, and then gidemote gid ka because of that decision, and gi-appeal nimo and nidaog ka or na exonerate ka on appeal or na dismiss ang kaso on appeal, then for the period that you were demoted, you will be restored, no, you will be restored to your former position, and you will be entitled to the salary differential, because let's say from salary grade 11 na demote ka to salary grade 8, let's say for 1 year, then ang 1 year nga demotion differential or salary differential will be paid to you, no? Or you will be entitled to the payment of the salary differential during the period the demotion was imposed. Okay? Munang effect sa ma-exonerate ka sa o sa ka admin case, no? Or the admin case was dismissed in the higher levels, like in the commission, in the civil service commission, no? Commission proper. Okay? In case the penalty imposed is suspension, the respondent shall immediately be reinstated to former post without loss of seniority rights, and the payment of back wages and all benefits which would have accrued as if the respondent has not been illegally suspended. No? So, naay back wages. You will receive back wages and other benefits that you were deprived of during the period of suspension, no? In case the penalty imposed is dismissal, the respondent shall immediately be reinstated without loss of seniority rights and with the payment of back wages and all benefits which would have accrued as if the respondent has not been illegally dismissed, no? If your dismissal was found to be an illegal dismissal, so you will get back your position without loss of seniority, ma-reinstate ka, if possible, and payment of back wages and all benefits, no? That which would have accrued if you were not illegally dismissed. Okay, the respondent is exonerated on appeal shall be entitled to leave credits for the period the respondent had been out of service. No, entitled to leave credits if during the period which you were out of service because of the dismissal. No, the grant of back wages and other benefits may be subject of settlement or compromise. Okay, applicability settlement in administrative cases. So in cases of light offenses where the act is purely personal on the part of the private complainant and the person complained of, and there is no apparent injury committed to the government, settlement of offenses may be considered, provided that settlement can no longer be applied for the second offense of the same act committed by the person complained of. So, for light offenses, and then the parties entered into an amicable settlement, pwede ra na siya for the first offense. But for the second and third offense, okay, dili na magamit to dismiss the case on the ground of settlement of the or amicable settlement of the case, no, dili na siya magamit kay it might be kanang every time na lang nga ma, ma-charge siya for an admin case, he will opt for settlement like payment. Okay, that is not allowed anymore in the second offense or in the succeeding offenses as the case may be. Okay. Motion for reconsideration. Filing in disciplinary cases. Filing under section 61. The party adversely affected by the decision may file a motion for reconsideration with the disciplining authority who rendered the same within 15 days from the receipt thereof unless otherwise provided by law. However, a private complainant may file a motion for reconsideration from the decision of the CSC regional office. Okay? So, um, if the decision is adverse to a party, to a certain party, then that the aggrieved party may file a motion for reconsideration when 15 days from receipt. Okay, where um, sa CSC regional office or sa commission as the case may be. A motion for extension of time to file a motion for consideration is not allowed. It is a prohibited pleading. When deemed filed, a motion for consideration sent by registered mail shall be deemed filed on the date shown by the postmark on the envelope, which shall be attached to the records of the case. In case of personal delivery, it is deemed filed on the date stamped thereon by the proper office. Okay? Ang MR, if through registered mail, the date of mailing. Registered mail, the date of mailing. And in case of personal delivery, the date it was received. Okay, within 15 days dapat within 15 days because no more extension for time to file a motion for reconsideration. What are the grounds for motion for reconsideration? Letter A, new evidence has been discovered which materially affects the decision rendered. The decision is not supported by evidence on record or errors of law or irregularities have been committed prejudicial to the interest of the movant, no? Same siya sa mga grounds provided by the rules of court, no? Some grounds are same dito sa atong rules of court on the grounds for MR, no? Filing MR. Limitation. Only one motion for reconsideration shall be entertained if a second motion for reconsideration is filed notwithstanding its prescription, the finality of action shall be reckoned from the denial of the first motion for reconsideration. So only one MR is allowed. Okay, what is the effect of filing an MR? The filing of a motion for reconsideration within the reglementary period of 15 days shall stay the execution of the decision sought to be reconsidered. Okay? Mas matol sa ang execution or mas stop sa ang execution of the decision sought to be reconsidered. appeal in disciplinary cases, no? If um usually, no, usually um for for disciplinary cases, MR sa ka, no? MR. Then after sa MR, pag madidayang imong MR, then you will file an appeal, no? Same gid sa atong same lagi siya halos sa atong rules of court, no? Decisions of disciplining authorities imposing penalty exceeding 30 days of suspension or a fine not a fine in an amount exceeding 30 days salary may be appealed to the commission within a period of 15 days from receipt hereof. In in case the decision rendered by a bureau or office head is appealable to the commission, the same may be initially appealed to the department head and then finally to the commission, and pending appeal, the same shall be executory except when the penalty is dismissal from service, in which case the same shall be executory only after the confirmation by the secretary concerned. No? So, tanan mga more than kay kung less than 30 days ra ang suspension or ang fine, then executory siya, no? It is not appealable, no? Pero if more than that, it can be appealed before the commission within a period of 15 days from receipt hereof. Okay? Thereof. When deemed filed, okay? Sa appeal, an appeal sent by registered mail or private courier service shall be deemed filed on the date stamped on the envelope, no? Sa appeal nga level, kung registered mail or even private courier, ang date na nakastamp sa envelope shall be the date of filing. And in case of personal delivery, it is deemed filed on the date stamped thereon by the proper office, no? Same sa rules of court karon nga bag-o, the revised rules sa the amended rules of court, no, and civil procedure, pwede na ang private courier ang nakabutang ang date of mailing sa private courier is the date of the date of filing. It's considered to be the date of filing. Kaya an appeal once perfected cannot be withdrawn except upon motion duly approved by the appellate body. 58 talks about the perfection of an appeal or a petition for review, no? To perfect an appeal or a petition for review, the appellant petitioner shall submit the following documents. Number 1, a memorandum containing the following: the grounds relied upon for the appeal, petition for review, the certified true copies of the assailed decision, resolution, or order, and the certified true copies of the documents or evidence relevant to the case. Okay? So, these matters must be included in your memorandum, no? Or in your petition for review or appeal with the proper authorities, no? So the memorandum shall be filed with the appellate authority, copy furnished the disciplining authority, no? So if it is within the jurisdiction of the region, you submit it with the region, copy furnish the field office or the provincial office. If it is the decision assailed of is the decision from the civil service regional office, you must file an appeal with the civil service commission, no? And then copy furnish the regional office. The latter shall submit the records of the case, which shall be systematically and chronologically arranged, paged, and securely bound to prevent loss, with its comment within 15 days from receipt to the appellate or higher authority. So, the the order, resolution, or decision, or the office which rendered the assailed decision, resolution, or order will file a comment, no? Comment to the appeal or to the petition from receipt of the notice from the higher authority, no? So whoever rendered the decision, which office, like regional office or field office, so they must submit the answer or the comment to the appeal or the petition filed, okay, within 15 days, and also submit all the records, no? Same sa rules of court, that the clerk of court, once i-appeal siya to the higher uh, body or authority or higher courts, the clerk of court must submit all the records, no, or transmit the records to the appellate authority or appellate court, no? Same gihapon dani sa um, um, 2017 rocks. Okay? There must also be a proof of service of a copy of the memorandum to the disciplining authority, no? Proof of service, pwede affidavit of service or katong registry receipt or the official receipt um, issued by the um, for private courier, no? And also the proof of payment of the required fee, no? Because there is a minimal fee, no? Or payment required when you appeal or you file a petition with regards to the order, decision, or resolution. Okay? So if the appellant or petitioner fails to comply, letter D, the the appellant or the petitioner must also submit a statement or certificate of non-forum shopping. Okay? If the appellate, if the appellant or the petitioner fails to comply with any of the above requirements within the reglementary period, the Commission shall direct compliance within a period of not more than 10 days from receipt thereof, with a warning that failure to comply shall be construed as failure to perfect an appeal petition for review and shall cause its dismissal with prejudice to its refiling. No? So once you fail to comply, it's not automatically uh, dismissed or denied. No, you are given a chance to comply within 10 days from receipt. Uh, if you still fail to comply within the period, then it shall cause its dismissal with prejudice. No, sayang kaayo. So dili na siya ma-refile kay na may with prejudice naman siya. So if na ay failure to comply with the above requirements, pwede pa siya ma-comply within 10 days. That's your last chance. Dili gid siya harsh kay nga dismiss diretso. So napaka last chance within 10 days to comply from receipt. Pero if wala gyud pa na comply, then construed as failure to perfect an appeal or petition. And then with that, the decision, the order or resolution of the body which rendered the assail the assail decision, resolution, or order will be final and executory because of the failure to comply with the rules on appeal, no, or petition for review. So the effect of filing, no, except for cases requiring confirmation of the department secretary concerned and cases decided by the CSC regional offices, an appeal petition to the commission shall not stop the decision resolution from being executory, no? So na ay mga decisions sa regional offices which even though it is appealed already to the commission or petition to the commission has been filed, the decision of the CSC regional office will be executory, no? It shall not stop the decision, especially those mga suspension or mga demotion. It will not stop, no? But of course, as we have discussed in the last meeting, there could be back wages, no, or payment of back wages once the commission has overruled or has overthrown the decision of um, the 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 CSC regional office or the field office, no? So if i-grant sa commission ang imong appeal or petition, mag-grant pa ka og back wages, no? Or katong mga benefits that were denied during the execution of the decision. Okay? Okay. Effect of finding of violation of due process. If on appeal, the Commission finds that the disciplining authority violated respondent appellant's right to due process, the Commission shall dismiss the case against the respondent and order the immediate reinstatement of the respondent with payment of back wages and other benefits. However, the dismissal of the case shall be without prejudice on the part of the disciplining authority to refile it in accordance with law, no? Because the civil service upholds its commitment, no, to follow or to give due process in all its decision, no, or in its the stage of the rules, no, the provision in the rules must be complied with, no, otherwise there will be a violation of the due process of the respondent. Okay, if there is a violation, if ma-prove sa commission, the case will be dismissed and there shall be an order to reinstate the respondent with payment of back wages and other benefits. But of course, the disciplining authority can still appeal it, no, or refile it in accordance with the law, no. Now, Section 71, petition for review of CSC regional office decisions. Okay, all decisions, resolutions rendered by the CSC ROs may be elevated to the Commission by way of petition for review within 15 days from the receipt thereof. No? So you have 15 days from receipt of the decision of adverse decision, of course, of the CSCROs, no? From the field office, you appeal it to the CSCROs. Now, from CSCROs, it may be elevated to the commission within 15 days by way of a petition for review. Okay? Section 72, petition for review of decisions of agencies, no? Except in cases involving sexual harassment, a decision, resolution of the disciplining authority in an agency exonerating the respondent or dismissing a complaint for lack of prima facie case or issuance of a formal charge for a lower offense is not subject to appeal or petition for review before the commission, no? Let's say it is the decision of a local government unit or a national government agencies, no? Sila ang nag-conduct sa investigation o sa trial or sa hearing, and then they found that the complaint lacked prima facie case, no, or lack the cause of action, no. So it may dismiss the case. It will dismiss the case, no, or it may issue a formal charge for a lower offense, and it is not subject to an appeal or petition for review before the commission, except if the case involves sexual harassment, no, it is not anymore subject to appeal or petition for review, no. Same sa atong criminal cases. Once the accused is acquitted or found not guilty of the crime charge, it is not anymore appealable, no. General rule, it is not anymore appealable. Same gyapon sa 2017 RACS, except for sexual harassment cases. So if ma-exonerate ang respondent sa complaint or ma-dismiss ang complaint rather, ma-exonerate siya sa charge against filed against him or her, or ma-dismiss ang complaint, then it is not anymore appealable nor subject to petition for review before the commission. Okay? Petition for review with the Court of Appeals. Okay? A party may elevate a decision resolution of the commission before the Court of Appeals by way of petition for review under Rule 43 of the Rules of Court. No? So if the decision was rendered by the commission, and the aggrieved party may elevate the matter or the decision or resolution to the Court of Appeals. That is under petition for review under Rule 43 of the Rules of Court, no? That is found in our Rules of Court. So all decisions from the Civil Service Commission are appealable to the Court of Appeals. Okay. So we are now in Rule 14, no, of the RACS, 2017 RACS. The payment of back wages and other similar benefits. No, benefits. Section 74. Who are entitled? The following are entitled to back wages and other similar benefits. An illegally dismissed or suspended official or employee who is exonerated, reprimanded, and or ordered reinstated in the service. So they are entitled to back wages. Tong mga na illegally dismissed or na suspend who was eventually uh, um, exonerated from the crime charged, or those um, reprimanded or impose the penalty of reprimand may be reinstated in the service. Okay, a respondent placed under preventive suspension whose order of suspension was declared by the commission as invalid, as we have discussed in the last meeting. So if there are grounds for preventive suspension, no, and if the ground, or if there is no ground for preventive suspension, or the commission finds that the preventive suspension was invalid, then the respondent who was placed under preventive suspension may be reinstated. So under section 75, what are included in the payment of back wages? No, subject to the guidelines provided here and after and other existing laws, rules and regulations, the following benefits are included in the scope of back wages. Letter A, salaries from the time the official or employee was illegally dismissed, suspended up to the time of actual reinstatement. No, there must be a finding that there was an illegal dismissal or illegal suspension before the said person or the employee will be entitled to the salaries from the time he was illegally suspended or dismissed up to the time of actual reinstatement. Murag same sa mga labor cases, no? Under our labor code and labor laws. Second, representation and transportation allowance as provided under existing rules. Nor if the employee who was illegally dismissed or illegally suspended is entitled to receive rata, then he will receive his rata from the time he was illegally dismissed up to his reinstatement, no? Or it depends on the decision of the higher authority, no? Letter C, he will also receive the personal economic relief allowance or the additional compensation allowance or the pera and ACA. Okay, restoration of leave credits, no? He will the leave credits that he has earned, no, will be will continue or will still be available, no? He will also get a loyalty award, no? Kay in the government usually nasa 5 years, 10 years. So kung depende kung pila ka years, he is entitled to the loyalty award, no? Let's say 1 year siya na suspend or na illegally dismissed, before siya na reinstate, then makount tong 1 year for the purpose of loyalty awards, no? Of giving the loyalty awards or availing the loyalty awards. The employee or official will also be entitled to the anniversary bonus. ko, okay? So mura siya, he will get whatever was denied or deprived of him during the time of the illegal dismissal or illegal suspension. Also the 13th, 14th month pay and the cash gift, the uniform and clothing allowance, the performance-based bonus, and other benefits given and other similar benefits given to regular employees by the agency. Okay? So same gid siya sa mura siyang same gid siya sa labor cases, no? You will get when you are reinstated, no, you get back wages. The benefits that were denied or deprived will be given back to you as if you were never dismissed or never been suspended. Okay? Guidelines. The following are the guidelines on the grant of back wages and other similar benefits to an illegally dismissed or suspended employee. The payment of back wages should be computed based on the rate of salary grade, job grade, pay level, pay grade of the respondent at the time of the dismissal or suspension, including the increases in salary, allowances, and and other emoluments that may occur during the period the employee was prevented from rendering service. So in case ang imong computation is based sa rate niya at the time nga he was dismissed or suspended. So if during the time that he was suspended or dismissed, there was a salary increase, he will also get the salary increases, the allowances, and other emoluments that may occur during the period which he was prevented from rendering service. Okay? Entitlement of rata. Entitlement to rata. Subject to existing rules and regulations, the requirement of actual performance of duty to an illegally dismissed or suspended respondent is dispensed with, since it is unreasonable to expect or demand performance of his or her function when circumstances prevent one from doing so. Okay? Um, sa rata, no, sa rata, there must be the requirement of the actual performance. Okay? Because rata is of course given as a representation and travel allowance, no? So if you have not made in representation or travel, so the allowance or the rata will not be given to you unless there was an actual performance, no, of duty. Um, that is um, that is when the person or the employee or the official will be entitled to rata, no? How about the pera and aka? Refers to the amount granted to civilian government personnel, whether occupying regular, contractual, or casual positions, appointive or elective, whose positions are covered by RA 6758 as amended. So, um, the 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 the, the aka and pera will still um, be given to the illegally dismissed or suspended employee. Okay? Letter D, the restoration of leave credits shall be subject to annual deductions of 5 days forced leave or mandatory leave as required under the omnibus rules on leave. Now, for those who are not employed in the government service or in the government, uh, government employees are entitled to the minimum of annual deductions of 5 days, or what you call forced leave or mandatory leave, no? uh, so this is the kind of leave wherein even though wala nimo siya gigamit nga leave, i-minus gid siya sa imong leave credits, no? So better use the 5 days nga forced leave or mandatory leave. Sa uban agency, i-deduct pa siya. If wala nimo nagamit ang 5 days nga forced leave, it will be deducted on your remaining leave credits, no? Unfair, medyo unfair siya. That is why it is better to use the mandatory or the 5 days nga forced leave so that it will so that you will enjoy the benefit of that leave, and it will not be deducted, unfairly deducted to your leave credits, no? But during the time of suspension or illegal dismissal, the 5 days forced leave or mandatory leave will be deducted to the um, leave credits. Purpose of loyalty award given to all officials, employees in the government who have rendered at least 10 years of continuous and satisfactory service in the government pursuant to CSC Memorandum Circular number 6 series of 2002, no? The period under which the respondent was illegally dismissed or suspended should not be considered as a gap in the service. Because again, because the dismissal or the suspension is found to be illegal, it will not be considered a gap in the service. So i-count gyapon to siya for the purpose of giving loyalty awards, no? The same should be included in the computation of his or her length of service. Okay? So it is as if wala siya gap, wala siya nasayang nga oras. The time that he was dismissed or illegally dismissed is counted as a length of service. Anniversary bonus is given during milestone years. So a milestone refers to the 15th anniversary and every fifth year thereafter. So respondent who have been illegally dismissed or suspended during the milestone years shall be entitled to the payment of the anniversary bonus, no? If the government office has been in existence for 15 years and every fifth year thereafter, munang gitawag nga milestone bonus, no? Or anniversary bonus. So usually pag 20th year, 25th year, 50th year, or every kind of 5 years thereafter, the agency may release anniversary or may grant anniversary bonus, no? And even though you were dismissed or illegally dismissed or illegally suspended, you are still entitled to the anniversary bonus. Okay? Also, the 13th and the 14th month pay is equivalent to 1 month, which is equivalent to 1 month basic salary and cash gift existing under existing laws or as provided in the General Appropriations Act shall also be given to the illegally dismissed or illegally suspended employee or official. Okay? Also, the uniform and clothing allowance refer to the amount granted per year to each qualified official or employee as provided in the GAA. No? Now, recently, or in the newest amount for the uniform and clothing allowance is 6,000 pesos, no? From the previous 5,000 pesos clothing allowance. Also, the bonuses based on performance shall be given on the basis of the rating of the employee prior to one's illegal dismissal or suspension from the service, no? If you have received a satisfactory performance, a very satisfactory performance or outstanding performance, an employee um, is entitled to receive a performance-based bonus. An illegally dismissed or suspended official or employee or a respondent who is exonerated or reprimanded is entitled to the payment of the aforementioned benefits from the time of illegal termination up to the actual reinstatement. Okay. Section 77, allowable deductions. The payment of back wages shall be subject to withholding tax, GSIS premium, PhilHealth, and the Home Development Mutual Fund or HDMF or Pag-ibig contributions and other monthly dues, deductions if there be any imposed by the agency, no? Because you were given back wages, so i-minus po lang yung mga BIR withholding taxes, imong GSIS premium, PhilHealth premium, Pag-ibig premium, contribution, and other monthly dues or payments if there is any as imposed by the agency. So mandatory ning with BIR withholding tax, GSIS premium, PhilHealth contribution, and the HDMF fund contribution. i-minus na siya sa imong ma-receive nga back wages. Because again, there will be no gap in the service, so there will also be no gap in the payment of taxes, GSIS premium, PhilHealth premium, and the Pag-ibig Fund premium. The payment of 13th, 14th month pay, cash gift, anniversary bonus, and other additional bonus given by the agency which exceeds the ceiling tax exemption, shall also be subject to withholding tax. No, if you have reached a maximum, the ceiling for the tax exemption, um, you will also be subject the cash gift, the 13th and 14th month gift, or I mean 13th month pay, will also be subject to withholding taxes. Okay? Invalidation or disapproval of appointment, that is found in in rule 17 of the rules on administrative cases in the civil service, or the 2017 ROCs. Now this is for non-disciplinary cases. Okay? Non-disciplinary cases. Section 86, invalidation or disapproval, who may appeal effect. Either the appointing authority or the appointee may assail the invalidation or disapproval of an appointment. Pending resolution of the appeal before the CSC, the appointee shall remain in his or her position with the entitlement to salaries. In case an appointment is finally invalidated or disapproved, the appointee shall be entitled to restoration to his or her previous position if applicable. Okay? Agencies may fill up vacant position resulting from promotion only after the CSC has approved or validated the promotional appointment. Section 93, protest when deemed filed. Okay, a protest is deemed filed in case the same is sent by registered mail or private courier service on the date stamped on the envelope or courier pack, which shall be attached to the records of the case, and in case of personal delivery on the date stamped by the agency or the commission. Okay, of course, the protest is filed no before an agency or before the CSC regional office or to the commission. Okay, so it is deemed filed if it is sent by a registered mail or private courier on the date stamped on the envelope or the courier pack. Okay, or in case of personal delivery, the date stamped by the agency. So what's the effect of the withdrawal of the protest? Okay, let's say the qualified next in rank have a change of heart, no? Di na siya gusto mag-file of protest. Okay, a protest or an appeal in this case may be withdrawn at any time as a matter of right, and then the withdrawal of the protest or appeal shall terminate the protest case. Okay? So ano ra kadali kung nag-change of heart, mag-file siya og withdrawal, or maybe siguro no na-promote na pod ang katong next in rank to the other position nga vacant nga di na siya magmahay, then if i-withdraw niya ang protest, then as it's a matter of right, and once there is a withdrawal of the protest or appeal, no, even appeal, it shall terminate the protest case. The dismissal of the protest. A protest shall be dismissed on any of the following grounds. First, the protestant is not the qualified next in rank. Okay, remember, only the qualified next in rank may file a protest. Number two, the protest is not directed against a particular protestee, but to anyone who is appointed to the position or directed to two or more protestees. Okay? The protest must be specific or particular to a person who is appointed to a specific position, and for what ground that you are filing a protest, no? The protest cannot be generic, no? The protest must be filed against a specific appointee, no? Not to two or more appointees. Dili pwede. or directed to two or more protestees. Okay? The protest will be dismissed if the appointment has been no appointment has been issued, no, for the obvious reason that nothing is nothing to be nothing uh, to be no, nothing to be no subject of protest, no, nothing is the subject of any protest if there is no appointment issued, no. Sayang-sayang ra ka og file og protest if wala man gyapon siya na appoint sa kato nga position. Again, you can only file up the protest if there has been an appointment issued. Okay? And letter D, the protest is filed outside the 15-day regulamentary period. Okay, remember, you can file the protest within 15 days from the date of announcement or the date of posting of the said appointment. And if it's beyond the 15-day period, it should be dismissed. Okay, finality of decision. A decision or resolution denying a protest shall become final and executory after 15 days from receipt thereof, and no motion for consideration, appeal, or petition for review has been filed. What's the effect of the decision? In case the protest is finally decided by the CSC against the protestee, okay, the approval or validation of his or her appointment shall be revoked, and appointment shall be considered disapproved, invalidated. The protestee shall be reverted to his or her former position if applicable. No? So, what if nag-grant ang protest, no? So, meaning there is a ground for the protest, no? Meaning the lack of the requirements. So, if the protest is finally decided against the protestee, or the approval or validation of his or appointment shall be revoked, no? Pwede ma-revoke ang imong appointment if the protest has been successful. Okay? And the protestee may be reverted to his or her former position, or shall be reverted to his or her former position if applicable. Again, for promotion, pwede ka ma-revert sa imong position, sa former position. But if original appointment, so dili na ka, wala kay balikan nga posisyon. Okay? So ana pod ka powerful ang protest if there is a ground for, if there's a valid ground for the said protest, and if ma-decide siya in or against the protestee. Okay? Also section another non-disciplinary cases is the recall of approval or validation of appointment. Okay? Who may file? Okay, it is the commission or any of its CSCRO or CSC field office, motu proprio or upon petition by any person may initiate the recall of the approval or validation of the appointment of an official or employee who does not meet the requisite qualification standards of the position on the ground that the appointment was issued in violation of the existing civil service laws, rules, and regulations. So, if nahuman na ang 15 days to file a protest, you can still file a recall, no? A petition for recall of the approved or validated appointment. Okay? On the ground that the appointment was issued in violation of the existing rules. Okay? Civil service rules. So when and where to file the recall of approval or validation of appointment? The petition may be filed anytime during the subsisting appointment to the CSC regional office which has jurisdiction over the appointee. In case the petition is filed with the CSC field office, the same shall be transmitted to the CSC RO concerned for decision. So it's always the CSCRO need to i-file ang recall of approval or validation of appointment. So what's the effect of the recall or the petition for recall? During the pendency of the petition to recall the approval validation of an appointment, the appointee shall remain and continue to discharge the functions of the position. Okay? So, dili maka-affect pa siya while wala pa'y final decision on the petition to recall. What if nanay finality of decision? A decision resolution on the petition to recall the approval of the appointment shall become final and executory after 15 days from receipt thereof, and no motion for reconsideration or appeal or petition for review has been filed. Okay? So, 15 days ang decision. I mean, 15 days from the decision or the the receipt of the decision, it becomes final and executory unless there is a timely MR or appeal or petition for review that was filed. Okay? Section 103. What's the effect of the decision? No? On the approval, I mean recall of the approval. When the petition to recall the approval or validation of the appointment is finally decided by the Civil Service Commission against the appointee, the approval, validation of his or her appointment shall be revoked and the appointment shall be considered disapproved and invalidated. So in case of a promotion from within the same agency, the appointee shall be reverted to his or her former position if applicable. Again, recall can only be had if the period to file a protest has already lapsed. No, you may still file a petition for recall with the CSC regional office. Okay, on the ground that the appointment has been issued in validation of the existing rules and regulations in the civil service. Rule 20, the dropping from the rolls, no? So this is also a common um, dispute, no? In or common kaning um, problem in an agency, no? Um, when to drop an employee from the roles. Okay? Section 107, meaning tanggalon siya sa iyang position. He will be dropped from the roles. Section 107, what are the grounds and procedure for dropping from the roles? Officers and employees who are absent without approved leave, awol siya, have or those who have unsatisfactory or poor performance sa ilang IPCR or have shown to be physically or mentally unfit to perform their duties may be dropped from the roles within 30 days from the time a ground therefore arises, subject to the following procedures. Okay? Number one, absence without approved leave. You are on AWOL. Na-AWOL ka. An official or employee who is continuously absent without official leave or AWOL for at least 30 working days may be dropped from the rolls without prior notice, which shall take effect immediately. He shall, however, have the right to appeal his or her separation within 15 days from receipt of the notice of separation, which must be sent to his or her last known address. No? If 30 days wala na ka nagpakita, wala kay official leave, then i-drop na ka sa roles because the agency, the function of the agency might be prejudiced by your continuous absent. So 30 working days of being absent, then you will be dropped from the roles even without prior notice. But you have the right to appeal within 15 days from the receipt of the notice of separation, which must be sent to his or her last known address. If the number of unauthorized absences incurred is less than 30 working days a written return to work order shall be served on the official or employee at his or her last known address on record. Failure on his or her part to report within the period stated in the order, which shall not be less than 3 days, is a valid ground to drop him or her from the rolls. Okay? So even wala pa nag 30 days 30 days ang iyang unauthorized leave of absence or absences, pwede na maka-issue ang agency or ang HR sa written return to work order, and if dili niya i-comply within 3 working days, then it is a valid ground for dropping the employer official from the roles. If it is clear under the obtaining circumstances that the official or employee concerned has established a scheme to circumvent the rule by incurring substantial absences, though less than 30 working days, the 3 times in a semester, such that a pattern is already apparent, dropping from the roles may without notice may likewise be justified. So medyo maro-maro siya. Let's say sa ika-25th day niya nga absence without leave, nag-file siya og leave of absence. No? Karon na siya nag-file after 25 days. So, of course, dili siya ma-drop from the rolls, but he will be given a written to work order, no? So if dili siya mag-report to report sa iyang duty within 3 days from the notice nga na I return to work, then ma-drop siya sa roles or ground siya for dropping. Or if muna iyang scheme, the scheme or the pattern happens 3 times in a semester, then it is also a ground for the dropping from the roles without notice may likewise be justified. Okay. Okay. Another ground for the dropping from the roles is the unsatisfactory or poor performance of an employee. Okay. Employees who obtained unsatisfactory rating for one rating period or exhibited poor performance within the first 3 months of the rating period shall be provided appropriate developmental intervention by the head of office and supervisor in coordination with the HRM office or personnel office to address the competency related performance gaps. If after advice and provision of developmental intervention, the employee still obtains poor rating for the remaining months of the rating period or unsatisfactory rating in the immediately succeeding rating period, he or she may be dropped from the roles. Okay? So, every semester, no, every 6 months, so that will be 2 semesters in a year, an employee is being evaluated by the head of office, no, through the IPCR, no, the individual performance commitment rating. Okay, um, i-evaluate ang performance sa isa ka empleyado, and if he is found to be and he has obtained unsatisfactory rating or poor performance with the first 3 months, then they will be subjected to developmental intervention. So dili pa diretso dropping from the roles, no? So the highest grade or the highest rating of an employee would be outstanding, no? And the second one would be very satisfactory performance. Ang third is satisfactory performance. Then ang last na yun is poor performance. That's the usual ratings, no? Sa isa ka empleyado. Now, um, if after the developmental intervention, no, to address the oh my God, related related okay, again, if after the advice and the provision for the developmental intervention and the employee still obtains a poor rating for the remaining months or the unsatisfactory ano day is it's outstanding, very satisfactory, um, unsatisfactory, and poor, no? So if poor ang imong rating period, imong rating for the remaining months, or unsatisfactory ang imong rating in the immediately succeeding rating period, then it is a ground for the dropping from the roles, meaning two consecutive rating periods wherein the employee obtained an unsatisfactory rating, then it is a ground for the dropping from the roles. Okay? An officer or employee who is given two consecutive unsatisfactory ratings may be dropped from the roles after due notice. Notice shall mean that the officer or employee concerned is informed in writing of his or her unsatisfactory performance for a semester and is sufficiently warned that a succeeding unsatisfactory performance may warrant his or her separation from the service. Such notice shall be given not later than 30 days from the end of the semester and shall contain sufficient information which shall enable the officer or employee to prepare an explanation within a reasonable period specified in the notice. This period shall not apply to probationary employees as defined under Section 4V of these rules. Okay? So, dili man automatic gid matanggal, so he will be given a chance to explain. No, he will be given notice to explain why did he obtain such unsatisfactory performance. Pero usually, if dili sufficient ang explanation, then he will be dropped from the roles. If two consecutive unsatisfactory note ratings has been given to the said employee or official. Okay? An officer or employee who for one evaluation period is rated poor in performance may be dropped from the roles provided he or she has been informed in writing of the status of his or her performance within 15 days after the end of the third month, with sufficient warning that failure to improve his or her performance within the remaining period um, of the semester shall warrant his or her separation from the service. Such notice shall also contain sufficient information which shall enable the officer or employee to prepare an explanation within a reasonable period specified in the notice. So if unsatisfactory ang rating, so two consecutive ratings or rating period. If poor siya, poor performance yun siya, then even one rating period or one evaluation period, pwede na siya ma-drop from the roles. Provided, again, he is informed in writing and he is given a chance to improve no after the third month. And if sa next third month, wala po nag-improve, poor po na yung performance, then he will be given sufficient information and for him to explain within a reasonable period why did he get or he obtain such a poor performance. And the third ground for the dropping from the roles is if the employee is physically unfit, no? Physically unfit or physical unfitness. It is ang ground is physical unfitness. An officer or employee who is continuously absent for more than 1 year by reason of illness may be declared physically unfit to perform his or her duty and may be consequently dropped from the roles. Okay? If 1 year siya absent because even nag-leave pa siya, if the reason is illness, then he may be declared physically unfit, no? Pero usually for the sake of compassion, no? We will di siya immediate ang pag-drop, labi na kay we try to understand, or we give him the chance to recover, even though within or even though beyond the 1 year period, no? It is usually the employer or the agency will give him a chance para maka-recover, no? Dili man siya anagid ka harsh, pero kung let's say comatose na gid siya, then before siguro siya mabadrop, maybe the family could file a retirement, no, an early retirement, para dili masayang ang iyang um, service, no. An officer or employee who is intermittently absent by reason of illness for at least 260 days working days during a 24-month period may also be declared physically unfit by the head of office, no. Labi na kung dili siya kaning tawag ani, dili siya straight ang iyang absence, no. um Intermittent, meaning putol-putol lang yung absence, yung absent by reason of illness, i-add nimo sa 20 within the 2 year period kung more than or nakaabot na siyang 260 days, then pwede na siya ma-drop from the roles for that reason. Okay? For this purpose, notice shall be given to the officer or employee concerned containing a brief statement of the nature of his or her incapacity to work. No, mga comatose na ka, na bedridden na ka, na stroke ka, bedridden na ka, mga circumstances nga murag healing is beyond the 1 year period, then kailangan before ka i-drop siguro, at least mag-file na og early retirement. That's the best way to do away with the dropping from the rolls. Mental disorder. An officer or employee who is behaving abnormally um, for an extended period may manifest continuing mental disorder shall be provided necessary human resource and psychological interventions. If after interventions, continued abnormal behavior or mental disorder is manifested, as reported by his or her co-worker or immediate supervisor as unconfirmed by a licensed psychiatrist, the officer or employee may be dropped from the roles. No, may siguro nabuang na siya, or ang iyang mental disorder or abnormal behavior which greatly affects his performance, then it could be a ground for the dropping from the roles. If the officer or employee refuses to undergo the necessary human resource and/or psychological interventions, he or she may be dropped from the roles based on the report of co-workers or immediate supervisor and after confirmation by a licensed psychiatrist. So, if you are of found to be having a continued abnormal behavior or mental disorder, dili man ka automatic i-drop from the roles. You will be extended help, no, na tagaan kag necessary interventions like psychological interventions basin na lang kay problema sa family, that's why you are behaving abnormally, no, or if naagi kay mental disorder as confirmed by the psychiatrist, then it could be a ground for the dropping from the roles. No, again, if it greatly affects the performance of your duty, of the performance of the duty, then it is prejudicial to the government service, so you must be dropped from the roles, no, or otherwise choose for an early retirement. So if you refuse to undergo the necessary human resource or psychological intervention, it is also a ground for the dropping from the roles if it is confirmed by a licensed psychiatrist. Notice, written notice, who signs? The written notice mentioned in the preceding paragraphs shall be signed by the highest ranking human resource management officer in the agency upon the recommendation of the person exercising immediate supervision over the officer or employee. However, the notice of separation shall be signed by the appropriate appointing authority or head of office. Okay? So i-notify nimo ang katong employee who is declared to be physically unfit, no? To work in the government. Okay? And it is the notice of separation is of course signed by the appointing authority or head of office because i-drop na siya from the roles. The agency order of separation through dropping from the roles is immediately executory. Okay, the agency shall not entertain motion for reconsideration from the order of separation through dropping from the roles. However, the employee shall appeal directly to the commission proper within 15 days from receipt of the order. Pending the appeal, the order of separation is immediately executory. So if you are dropped from the roles, your only remedy is to file a motion for reconsideration or the appropriate petition or appeal before the commission proper within 15 days from the receipt of the order. And while pending the appeal, the order of separation is immediately executory. Okay, dropping from the roles, non-disciplinary in nature. This mode of separation from the service for unauthorized absences, unsatisfactory or poor performance, or physical or mental disorder is non-disciplinary in nature and shall not result in the forfeiture of any benefit on the part of the official or employee or in the disqualification from reemployment in the government, no, in the government service or in the government. As I've told you earlier or in the previous lectures that if you are found to be liable administratively, no, katong yung mga disciplinary cases, you are found liable or found guilty of the crime of the offense charge. The worst case scenario is the forfeiture, the dismissal from public service and the forfeiture of the benefits due to the employee and the disqualification from reemployment. That's not the case in the dropping from the roles, no? In case of continuous absences, again for the dropping from the roles, in case an employer, an official has been dropped from the roles due to the above mentioned causes or grounds, it will not result in the forfeiture of any benefit on the part of the official or employee, or it does not also disqualify him from reemployment. No, if of course he will change his attitude of being um, or having been absent for without unauthorized absence, no, unauthorized absences. If he will just change that change that attitude nga dili siya sigig absent, or he will improve his performance, no, or he become physically or mentally fit again, then he may be reemployed in the government service, no, in the government. Okay, so what are the remedies in non-disciplinary cases that is found in Rule 21, Section 11, Section 111, 111, remedies in non-disciplinary cases. The aggrieved party in non-disciplinary cases may avail the applicable remedies provided under Rules 12 and 13, otherwise, unless otherwise provided by law or these rules. All actions of CSROs or other offices within CSC may be brought to the commission proper by way of petition for review. So as we have discussed previously, no, in rules 12 and 13 are the disciplinary cases, no. For this non-disciplinary cases, the rules under the disciplinary cases on appeal, filing a petition, same lang gihapon siya sa non-disciplinary cases. So again, if you are the non-disciplinary cases is within the jurisdiction of the CSC field office or regional office, it may be elevated to the CSC commission proper, no, by way of petition for review. Okay, so same ra ang process sa katong pag-appeal, no? Ang mga rules sa appeal, sa pag-file sa petition for review, um, sa disciplinary ug non-disciplinary. Okay? Effects of decision of the Commission on Appeal or petition for review. Where the Commission sets aside or reverses a decision, the effect shall be as follows. Okay? So, di ba pwede man nimo ma-appeal ang dropping from the rolls? I-appeal nimo siya sa Civil Service Commission Regional Office and petition for review dito sa Commission proper. Now, if na-drop ka from the rolls and the commission or the CSC regional office or commission proper sets aside or reverses the decision, the employee may be reinstated immediately to his or her former post with payment of back wages and other monetary benefits. Kaya remember, in the dropping from the rolls, it is immediately executory. No? So if ever na grant ang imong appeal or ang imong petition nga ma-reverse ang katong dropping from the or order or notice of separation due to the dropping from the rolls, then you will be reinstated no immediately to the position former post with the payment of back wages and other monetary benefits, meaning there is no ground, the commission finds no ground for the dropping from the rolls. That's why you are reinstated. No, how about illegal termination? Okay, okay. The employee shall be reinstated with payment of back wages and other monetary benefits. For disapproval, invalidation, and revocation of appointments, the appointee shall remain in that position if the appointment has been approved, validated, or katong iyang revocation na reverse. Okay. If there was an illegal reassignment, transfer, detail, or secondment, the employee shall be restored to the former position. Okay? If there was a demotion no, as a result of the disciplinary, apila ni dire ang disciplinary ha, the employee shall be entitled to back wages and other similar benefits and restoration of former salary grade with the same salary step. Okay? So, muna sila ang mga grounds for, I mean, ang mga effect after the Commission on Appeal or petition for review and the commission sets aside or reverses the decision, no? If it's dropping from the rolls, again, back wages. No, halos tanan back wages man gyud. And other reinstatement, back wages, and other monetary benefits. So same sa illegal termination, sa disapproval, invalidation, and revocation of appointments, illegal reassignment, transfer, detail, or secondment, or illegal demotion or wrongful demotion, then the employee whose decision has been reversed or set aside will be entitled to the back wages and reinstatement or restoration of the former salary grade within the same salary step. Okay? So with that, I have ended my presentation for or lecture for um, the 2017 rules on administrative cases in the civil service, or what you call the 2017 RACs. No, I hope you have learned something from this law, no, sorry, from these rules, no, and this is very very helpful when it especially if you are in the government service, acting as a legal officer or even in the HR position or as legal counsel or attorney position in a specific government agency, both local or national. Okay, so these are the different rules on administrative cases in the civil service. Okay, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Have a good week. Have a good week.